Having Ehlers-Danlos syndrome means having a complicated condition. I didn't realize how complex it could all get and the extent it can affect an EDSer's existence. If you've been newly diagnosed with it, then these learnings of mine may help you. Well, I hope they do. I had a major health crash because of my Hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos in October 2015, which left me visibly disabled. It took 18 months before I was diagnosed with EDS after a string of misdiagnoses and having to take steroids for my pain. But that was 6 years ago. If you'd like to know more about how I was diagnosed, how I managed my EDS, then please check out the description box for more videos and blog posts on it. Now, in these 6 years, I've constantly been surprised by how much I don't know about EDS, despite all that I've read up, all the questions I've bugged my doctors up with, and all that I've experienced. I thought it would be good to create a list of things I didn't know about hypermobile EDS, and sort of the things that I've learned the hard way. I want to share that. Number one, growing pains aren't growing pains. I was 9 when I started going to the GP complaining of knee pains and was always dismissed as me experiencing growing pains. My discomfort was never taken seriously. Instead, I was given ointments and told to apply bandages to help ease the pain. What tops the madness of not being taken seriously was when an orthopedic couldn't figure out the reasons for my pain. Other than believing I have growing pains, he eventually decided to perform an arthroscopy and removed a plica from my knee, which wasn't even needed. I wasn't given the proper rehab I needed to gain strength and carried on believing I'm wrong in thinking that my pains were something else. But years later, well, just a couple of years ago, I got to know that a lot of people who were eventually diagnosed with EDS had their pains dismissed as growing pains when they were younger. It's one of those early signs of having EDS. And now I feel that orthopedics should have known better. Number 2, connective tissue is everywhere. Pain can happen anywhere. Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is a connective tissue disorder, and guess what? Connective tissue is everywhere. But what is connective tissue? As explained by the National Cancer Institute, and I'm going to quote them, connective tissues bind structures together, form a framework and support for organs and the body as a whole, store fat, transport substances, protect against disease, and help repair tissue damage. They occur throughout the body, unquote. So when a doctor told me that EDS is a group of connective tissue disorders, actually I lie. A doctor never explained any of it. They just told me the name of the condition. So when I read up that EDS is a group of connective tissue disorders, it didn't quite register that connective tissue is everywhere. And so it didn't register that I could possibly face issues in multiple places rather than just affecting my legs, arms, fingers, and other organs. I didn't really know how extensive the issues with my tissues could go. Soon I had problems with my jaw, shoulder, neck, and now it's affecting my brain too by causing a CSF leak. I've done a video on that and a blog post on that, so you can read about that as well as to how that happened. Number 3, leads to additional comorbidities. Oh boy, this was a big one. I never thought so many of my other issues like endometriosis, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, dysautonomia, POTS were all connected with Ehlers-Danlos. I saw them as individual conditions, and strangely so did my doctors. Whereas logically, it's one body, so it all must be connected, right? I've written blog posts and done videos on the EDS connections with all these conditions, which I will link in the description box. But what surprised me the most is how such blatant connections were never picked up in my long history of visiting doctors. Number 4, slow healing. When connective tissue is troubled, as it is when you have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, the issue of slow healing comes up. I could never understand why the smallest of things would cause injury and then take such a while to get better. And no, I'm not diabetic, and that's not the reason. I think the scariest moment for me was when an EDS specialist doctor was against me getting endometriosis excision surgery. She feared that I wouldn't heal well, the tissue wouldn't repair fast enough, and that it could cause internal bleeding. This really scared me. But I took a chance and went ahead with my surgery a few years after being told this. The surgery was done by a doctor who had performed the excision surgery on EDS patients before and understood how to tackle the surgery better. He was better prepared. So this also meant that I had a much longer recovery time, but knowing that I'm a slow healer made me more cautious and got me mentally prepared to rest it out. If you would like to know how I prepared for my endometriosis excision surgery, what happened afterwards, then please, again, check out the description box for more details. Number 5, just because you're hypermobile doesn't mean you don't need to stretch. Being hypermobile means your joints can hyperextend, as in move beyond their normal range of motion. This also means that people with hypermobile EDS are supposedly more flexible. I was pretty flexible growing up, doing gymnastics and yoga with ease. But going beyond your range can cause flare-ups, which I wanted to avoid. So I stopped stretching, believing I'm flexible anyway. I'm well stretched anyway. This is so wrong. Just because I'm flexible does not mean that I cannot get stiff, which can lead to pain and spasms. How it should be done is, yes, you stretch, but you have to relearn, reprogram the mind what your range of motion should be so that you don't hyperextend. So stretching is essential. I would recommend learning from a physiotherapist your range of motion, and from Jeannie Di Bon's videos. I will link more about her in the description box. Number 6, EDS is not a rare condition. It is rarely diagnosed. I'm sure this conflicts with what medical websites will say, but it does not create any conflict with EDS specialist doctors and those who have EDS and wait an average of 10 years for their diagnosis. I waited 24 years since the onset of my symptoms. I was always told that EDS is a rare condition. But what I didn't know was that Ehlers-Danlos is rarely diagnosed. So yes, on paper, the number of registered cases may not seem like a lot, but that's because medical professionals are not trained to spot EDS and its EDS's signs and symptoms. They don't know about it. The problem lies in the lack of knowledge and then the lack of diagnosis. So those were my 6 for now. I'm sure EDS has a lot of surprises in store because of its complexities, and I so hope to keep adding to this list as I keep learning. I mean, I don't want to add more problems, but I just want to learn a bit more, and I want to keep sharing that. But if there's something that you've discovered about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome that you would like to share, then please drop in your discovery in the comment section and enlighten all of us who wish to learn. Until next time, please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for your support, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Bye-bye.